Yeah, I actually mentioned it to the guys. I mean, this is every game is a big game, but then we start this 5 straight midweek games, and it's going to be quite the grind. I think it goes from 5 days to 6 days to 6 days to 7 days or something, and so it's going to hit us pretty quick. And but we had a good open week. I thought we got better in a couple areas. Got 1 or 2 guys healthy, but unfortunately we had 1 or 2 guys hurt as well from the last game. So we'll adjust and move on. But I think being homecoming, it should be great weather. Should be a nice crowd against a really good Group of 5 team that's done an amazing job. Coach Creighton has over the last 7, 8 years getting them to where they're a bowl team about every year. So we'll see what happens.
Questions for Coach?
Could you update us on Ron Wiggins?
Yeah, Ronnie unfortunately had it was a strange injury. It wasn't a shoulder, something in his chest that he had to have surgery and probably going to be out for the year. He may be able to be back at the end of the year, but more than likely he's probably finished for the season. It's nothing that will keep him from playing in the future, but for this year it doesn't look good.
And also, if you could update us on quarterback, are you anticipating a change there?
Well, the way I look at it, we have 2 starters in Zion and Logan. We'll see who performs better this week in practice. But I wouldn't hesitate to have either one of them start. Logan has done some good things and he's learning, but Zion knows our system and he's reliable too, we think. So we'll probably go into the game plan, with both of them in mind and having 2 starters. I'll figure out who the first guy will be probably, by after Thursday practice. But like I said, I've never worried about, declaring it early. We'll see how they practice.
I know you hope to have Anwar Lewis back already by this point. Is there something specific that you're still looking to see from him to make sure he's healthy enough to go?
Yeah, he's got to be getting game shape. He's working really hard. I know he's frustrated. But it's been a long process for him, and everybody's kind of frustrated because we want Anwar healthy and ready to go, and that's the biggest thing. It's no use for us to play anybody that's not 100% or close to 100%, and he hadn't been there. Now he's better. He's closer there now than he has been. This week, today, tomorrow, Thursday, we'll really evaluate him. When you're that inactive with a lower body injury, you lose. Some of your fundamentals, but a lot of things you lose is your conditioning. You're not in shape. You're not used to running. And the way we do things, everybody's got to be in shape. And so he's slowly gotten himself into better shape in the last couple of weeks, and this will be a big week to see if because when he's healthy 100%, he's a really good player. But if he's not in shape, he's not ready, then everybody's going to would be hindered. So that's the end of last week. I saw glimpses of him getting better and better, and then we'll see what happens with him the next couple of days.
Do you think with the tempo y'all run, maybe game shape conditioning the standards may be a little higher than it is at some other places?
Oh, no question it is. For not just the tempo we run, but just the schemes that we do and the things we ask for our players. I mean, they run a lot. Our backs run a lot. They do a lot of stuff. So it's a little different dynamic than maybe somebody that's a little slower tempo, or they don't do as much with their skilled players as we do. They get a lot of miles in during the week.
Felt like last year, and I know more guys saw the field, but you had 3 running backs you really split stuff up between for the most part. Is that kind of the ideal number of guys you want involved?
Or 4. Yeah, I don't think you could ever have too many running backs, right? And now with Ronnie getting hurt, Malik has been banged up, but he's fought through that. Juwan Evans, having Anwar back would be good. Kenyon be able to play a little bit as well. Who else am I missing? The running back.
Reggion.
Reggion, he's kind of the X factor that the beginning of camp he was still overcoming the injury from last year, and then in the last couple of weeks he's gotten more comfortable and gotten better. So I think Reggion should be in the mix this week more than he has been the last several weeks, especially with Ronnie being out.
you have to get P.J. Wells back in the mix soon?
We hope. We'll see how he practiced this week. You know, he went from a yellow jersey, which is not doing much anything, to a green jersey, which means he's limited, but he's doing more. And so really, we hope to know about him next day or two. And Dalen Wright is another wide receiver that can help us. And this is going to be a week for him to show what he can do the next couple of days.
Do you think with the running back room limited, are you guys going to shift more to a pass-centric offense? Or?
Not really. I mean, we're going to do what we do, no matter what the running back situation is. Like I said, the guys that we have left are all capable to do it. And so, you know, we're going to run the same plays, you know, and that's the one thing about the quarterback. You know, if one quarterback, you always want to play to their strengths a little bit, but our quarterback's strengths and weaknesses are pretty similar across the board. So we don't really have, okay, this is a plan if this quarterback's in there, or this is the plan if this running back's in there. It's, you know, it's kind of we do what we do.
Felt like early on against Coastal, y'all made more of an effort to push the ball downfield vertically. Was that something y'all were looking to exploit going into that game, or just what the defense gave you?
A little bit what they were doing to us, and we've got to be able to throw the. We have the capability of throwing the ball down the field, and we have some guys that can run and stretch the field. We're probably not as fast as I would want, as we will be and when I want to be, but some of that is our guys are still thinking a little bit and still learning. Some of our most explosive guys are younger guys that are still learning the system. But that's not an excuse at this point in the year. We've got to be able to, if teams are going to challenge us to throw, you know, put everybody up in the box, we got to be able to throw it. And we work really hard on it, and we got guys that are capable of doing that. But, you know, we don't want to be so stubborn that we're always running against the number, so to speak.
At times it felt like in the red zone, maybe the quarterbacks and the receivers maybe weren't on the same page against Coastal. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't think. Looking back at it, I mean, this, again, I've kind of moved on from that game, but looking back at it, we didn't have that miscommunication or not being on the same page issue as much as just we didn't get much separation. Could have had a couple better play calls. Could have done some different things. That was the disappointing part. We've been really good in the red zone, and in that game, you know, we either settled for field goals or didn't execute down there, and that's one of the reasons why we didn't win.
What do you guys see in Eastern Michigan, just watching film on them?
Big physical team. I kind of like thought coming into it that they're, you know, you looked at it and played Minnesota, and it was toe-to-toe with Minnesota, who's huge and, you know, a Big Ten team. You know, they got big physical offensive linemen. They got a big running back they're going to pound the ball in there 4 or 5 yards, and they'll put another running back in there who's really shifty and really good, and that's what they're going to do to control the game. You know, get some play action passes and run the football and see if we can get off a block and make a tackle. And then defensively, the same thing. They're huge up front. Got really big linebackers that tackle well. I mean, they're just a typical big physical MAC team that's, you know, that they know who they are. That's what they do, and they do a good job of it. Their coach is, like I said, what Coach Creighton done there is amazing. I mean, they went years and years without even having a winning record, and now they're one of the best teams in the MAC each year. So, you know, and they have a kind of a system, a style that they adhere to, what they go to, and it works for them. They've been very successful with it.
What have you seen from the team since the loss? Have you seen them respond in practice and
Yeah, I think, you know, we kind of go 24 hours like Coach speak, you know, that whether you win or lose, you got 24 hours to go next one. Now with all these games coming up, you might have 12 hours, not 24 hours to move on. So I thought our guys responded well. We challenge them every week no matter what anyway. So whether we win or lose, Sunday's schedule is kind of the same, and then on Monday, we're on to the next team. So our guys moved on pretty quickly. I thought we had a pretty good week last week on Tuesday, Wednesday practice. And then I think our guys, it seems like it's been forever. Our guys, I think they'll be ready to play Saturday.
Eastern Michigan's defense forces a lot of turnovers. I think it was 4 they had last week against UMass. Is there a way to prepare for that?
Yeah, you got to make sure, you know, the first off starts with making good decisions offensively. You don't want to throw the ball. I mean, they got guys that they got a lot, kind of like big rangy safeties that got good ball skills. So you don't want to give them gifts with just throwing the ball up there because they'll pick it off, and that's what they did in the last game. A couple throws, they were just thrown up there, and they went and got them. And that's what they thrive on. Like I said, ball control, going to get you turned over on offense. So we've been good with that. For the most part, I think we've got one, turnover or something. But that's going to be key for us. And you don't want to play so conservative that you don't take a chance or two. But at the same time, you can't give them extra possessions because they'll shorten the game and have long drives and limit your possessions.
How did you think Kolbi and some of the other members of the secondary played against Coastal?
I thought we played really well defensively. I think we had, 2 big plays at the end there, which was uncharacteristic for us, and we had opportunities. But outside those 2 big plays at the end, I thought our defense was really solid. We're playing against a really good quarterback who, he's kind of a savvy guy. It's hard to trick him, and he was just dumping things off and. Was extending a few plays, and they had a couple explosive players, but we've been pretty solid. We didn't get it, the turnovers like we had been getting. That was the one thing that we probably need to do. But sometimes turnovers happen because you make a really good play on defense, and sometimes it happens because they make a really bad play on offense. So you get a little bit of luck involved with that deal too.
Not talking too much about it. As everybody saw last week, we had a rough game. We could have did a lot of things better. We hung in as a whole team going into the halftime. I feel like during that game, we started out a little bit slow. The rain delay definitely hurt us a little bit, because we like to keep the tempo going. But as a defense, we just a lot of things happened in the second half where we weren't locking in our keys and stuff like that. So, we just had to get in the playbook this bye week, everything like that. And we've been studying Eastern Michigan. We moved on past Coastal, to be honest. It was just a game that, you had to mark down and learn from and move on. So, not talking too much about that game.
What have you guys seen out of Eastern Michigan watching them?
Eastern Michigan, they like to run a lot. Nothing too special. This is pretty much a inside zone team. They like to hit the RPO a little bit. I feel like during this game, our biggest thing is going to be able to stop the run. If we stop the run, I feel like it's going to be a very good game for us and limit their time of possession with the ball and give it back to our offense.
Questions for Kolbi?
You said, the losing to Coastal, that's just a game we have to learn from and move on. Anything specific you feel like on the defensive side that y'all feel like you were able to learn going back and looking at that tape?
Looking back, just a lot of it was just every time that we would send pressure against him and we would send him into scramble mode, the receivers, we weren't locking on the receivers in the back end. So a lot of it was just us, honestly. He was just hitting wide open passes. He didn't do anything special in my eyes. Like I said after the game, it was just on us to lock on the scramble drill. You know what I'm saying? Coach had talked about it all week, and it's just little stuff that we didn't pick up and do. So I feel like that's what got us beat.
What was with the bye, what does that allow y'all to do? Did you spend an extra week prepping for Eastern Michigan? Do you work more on fundamental stuff?
A little bit of both. We definitely touched on Eastern Michigan, but it was definitely a week for us to recover and work on fundamentals and stuff like that. We struggled a little bit with open field tackling as well, so we definitely worked on that and touched on it during this bye week.
Did you do anything special this weekend?
No, I just went home, seen my family. I don't go home a whole lot. I'm up here most of the time with football, so spent time with them, went out, got something to eat, so that's about it.
I think my thoughts, obviously, it's going to be a big game. A lot of fans going to be out there since it's homecoming, but we can't really, get caught up in that. We got to play football at the end of the day. But, yeah, we just going to come out and do what we do.
Questions for Malik?
Finding out Ron's going to miss time maybe this season, how did you find out, and how tough is that just for y'all knowing that he's out?
Yeah. Obviously, that I would say kind of hurt us, but not really, because obviously, we got guys in the RB room, so it's just one man down, the next man up. So I feel comfortable in all the guys in the room that anybody can just come up and take that step. But obviously, you know, we'll have Ron. He'll be on the sideline, like, so we'll be able to see what he see on the field too, like that.
When that happens, is that just kind of a reminder that you maybe never know exactly how many games you have left?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I know coming in when I was at ULM, like my freshman year, I was like told like I was gonna be playing, and I got hurt in a scrimmage, so it was like kind of eye opening. Like, so you know.
When you went back and watched the Coastal tape, what stood out to you on offense?
I mean, obviously, you know, we just got to finish. We were able to drive the ball pretty well, just finishing in the red zone. I felt like the team overall played hard and played well, but, you know, offense, we just got to fix the little kinks.
What do you see in Eastern Michigan's defense, and how do you look to stack up against them?
I mean, what I saw, like, they like to fly around, like, so it's going to definitely be high energy out there. But I think we'll fly around the best. Like, they play hard with a hard edge, too.
Eastern Michigan, you know, they had a lot of success recently in the turnover department. Does that change anything you think about or going into this?
I mean, nah, because, I mean, Coach Red tried and all the other coaches, they preach ball security every day, but, I mean, we'll just stick to what we do. Nothing different.
What's the most, like, in terms of just not fumbling, what's the most important thing for you as a running back?
I say just being able to trust my guys up front with blocks, and I say, like, tracking the right direction and stuff. Like, having trust in really everybody, like, even on perimeter blocking. So that's a big thing, and making sure I see it.
When you see one of your own guys get hurt in Ron, does that make you play more conservative so you don't also have to be outside with them? Does that make you play more aggressive to honor?
Yeah, I would say it'll definitely make you play, like, more aggressive, you know? Yeah, because you never know, like, when you'll get hurt. But we just play balls out.
You mentioned kind of earlier in the season how he's really helped you step into the offense. I mean, how is it still being able to have him on the sidelines and kind of almost as still a mentor to you as you're still kind of learning the offense?
Yeah. Oh, it's definitely, like, big, you know, even with Anwar, like, and along with the younger guys, like, if they see something that I don't see, like, we able to, like, talk about it, even if Coach Hot Rod don't see it.
Do you feel like from a conditioning standpoint, you have to be in better shape to play here than maybe some other places?
Oh, for sure. I was out the offense for a year, and I mean, just getting back in it, you know, obviously I know what Coach Richard was about. Like, you know, just you got to push through. And I think overall, like, I feel like right now I'm in the best shape of my life. Like,
what's the biggest difference? Because in playing maybe for somebody else and playing for Richard.
You gotta play with a hard edge, obviously, and like you really don't have time to think. You know, you gotta be well conditioned, and I say it starts with summer training. Summer training, you know, like we were getting it every day. Like even when you were tired, like you just had to keep fighting, keep pushing, and like it made like the other guys. I'd say like we all came team bonding. Like so, yeah, just pushing each other.
I think when we watch y'all, we probably focus a lot on just how fast y'all run the plays, and we think of, you know, endurance and speed, but is maybe one of the harder parts is just mentally, like you said, no time to think in between plays, you just kind of got to react.
Yeah, right. I'll say it started in practice too.